Great. This is, wow, the first episode of the Huddle for the year. This is amazing. It's exciting to be here. Excited to kick it off from my wonderful team. And I am pushing forward today with the strangest voice I've had since 24. But that's okay. I'm going to get through it. My name is Chase Steele Gray. I am the host of Health and Wellness Wednesdays. If you're joining us for the first time on the first day of the year, congratulations. You have such a powerful year ahead of you. We have so much to offer, and I'm so excited that you're here. So today, we have a woman that we just revere so much, and we're so happy that she's making her debut as a guest here. I'm going to let you know a little bit about her. She is a health enthusiast that goes by the name Ingrid Williams, with 15 plus years in NYC law enforcement and a variety of work experiences since the age of 14. Ingrid is a student of the universe and a teacher to all. Her formal education includes a double A gain from City Tech right here in Brooklyn, New York, and during her journey as a single mother of three, also includes trainings obtained at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, where she gained the title of Integrative Nutrition Health Coach and also Gut Health Coach. I love that. Her journey at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition led to the creation of Health and Healthy Living, HaHL, of which she is the founder. Her most recent achievement in the coaching field is completion of the Coaching Intensive Practicuum 2 weeks ago that qualifies her for the World Board Health and Wellness Certifying Examination. Yes. Where she will sit in spring 2025. Ingrid's mission is to help others create a health and healthy living lifestyle to prevent dis-ease and lead lengthy, healthy lives to the wealth. In her leisure time, Ingrid enjoys traveling the world, being in nature, family time, reading, and creating concoctions in her lab. Please welcome to the Daily Huddle, Ingrid Williams. All right.
Is that me?
Let's do it. I know what you were feeling. That's me. Wow. It always feels weird, right? So
Yeah.
thank you for being here. I know you're stretching out by doing this, and I love that about you on the first day of the year. We open up a new cavern in our brain, in our body to do something more. I really love that about you. So thank you so much for taking this risk, if you will, right? We mean you nothing but love, obviously. And in this topic, if you guys have not seen the topic today is, are you consciously choosing your primary and secondary foods? Please open that up for us a little bit. Give us a little context for that.
Okay. Happy New Year to all. Peace, love, and light. I always enter a space bringing peace, love, and light as my gifts. Okay, so this concept is coined by Joshua Rosenthal, who is the director and founder of the Institute of Integrative Nutrition right here in New York City. And primary foods and secondary foods could also be known as the foods on and off your plate. So I'll start with the secondary foods and progress to primary because it's all about progression and everything, right?
Right.
So the secondary foods are the foods that's on the plate, what we consume on a daily basis. So are we choosing those foods? And I could swap out the word or integrate the word choose for investing or choose to invest in those secondary foods with intent, like consciously. One of your tenets here on the Daily Huddle is to eat more plant-based, right? Are we choosing to eat those plants, at least one meal? Are we choosing to invest in or to eat our foods as close to its original form versus an ultra-processed package?
Right.
Do you see where I'm going with this? So when we sit down to eat, are we just sitting to fill a void? Or are we choosing the foods to feed the gut microbiome, which is where the food ends up and where it's dispersed and used appropriately?
Right.
And sometimes when we eat these secondary foods, like when we eat the SAD diet, SAD, Standard American Diet, acronym is SAD and well earned.
Well earned, yes.
We eat all this ultra processed stuff, and sometimes we're eating this stuff mindlessly, these foods mindlessly, and we're actually eating them because we're actually hungry for our primary foods. Now, the primary and the secondary foods go hand in hand. They're intertwined, almost like that woven New York Times thing, Matt, you made the other day.
Right.
It goes in and out, right?
Right.
So the primary foods, I look at it like the secondary foods, they have the macro and micronutrients, the protein, carbs, fat, potassium, fiber, sodium, and they make up the secondary foods. The primary foods are things I think in the end feeds the soul, but they also have the macro and micronutrients. It could be in the form of spirituality, relationships, let's say healthy relationships, right? And relationship could be as a parent, as a spouse, as a coworker, as a CEO, relationships. Each thing has a whole umbrella of other subtitles underneath it.
Wow.
Primary foods could also be physical activity. One of your tenets here is also to move your body, move more. We were made to move. And when you feed these primary foods, spirituality, career, are you in a career that's serving you? Are you being fulfilled through the fulfillment of others, or is it consuming you? I remember one time Sorrell shared a story when he was young and eager, and he was working all these hours, and he wasn't eating properly, wasn't sleeping properly, wasn't seeing his family. So I think after a while, if the primary foods are not feeding you, it's feeding off of you. And the primary foods are just as important as the secondary foods. So are we we usually say like, okay, we feed off of each other's energy. That's a primary food. Are we choosing the energy that we are reciprocating off of, or that we put our energy in the presence of? Sometimes you might say that young lady or young man has a hunger for knowledge, right? Again, it's the food, they're feeding the knowledge. So are we feeding our intellectual? Are we consciously choosing the things that we want to consume, whether it's through your eyes, through your ears, and feeding our soul? So me, in the end, the soul comes like the gut microbiome with the primary foods. We'll also say, today, I hope I leave you with food for thought, to think of everything that we do as food, whether it's feeding the gut or feeding the soul, whether it's feeding us on a whole or is contributing as one of the macro or micronutrients of the soul of the primary food. Careers, we spend 8 out of the 16 hours we have left in careers. We have 24 hours in a day, 8 is usually for sleep, 16 left, 8 plus is in our careers. How are those careers serving us? Is it healthy for us? Is it helping us? Are we, even if we cannot choose the career we want at the time, are we choosing to let it work for us and fulfill us and feed us rather than feeding off of us?
Correct. Wow. That was a lot all at one time. Yeah, I think we're done. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. I think we got all the information we needed just from that. I was very surprised to hear you say that the primary foods have to do with how we're feeding ourselves outside of food. You blindsided me with that. That was great. And I was thinking to myself, I can think of people who I interact with who make me feel full when I'm with them. Not full like I can't move another inch, it's Thanksgiving, but I mean full, satisfied, satiated within their sphere of energetic flow and aura, right? And I'm so glad that you said that because I honestly was not thinking you were going to say that. I'm like, okay, primary foods, what's she going to say? And I was getting ready to write down some stuff that you said. The other thing, which is so beautiful because that works hand in hand, right? Those of us who are not getting the primary foods, as we call them, be it exercise, movement, fulfillment of your job or relationship, then we wind up eating crap. It's the craziest thing. We're like, oh, I don't have to tell you, in New York, there's 8,000 places to eat for short money, quick. You throw it in your body, and then 4 hours later, you go, "Why did I do that?" Right? You're figuring out, what is going on, and I vow to eat more plant-based starting today than I ever have. I'm on a new system right now as well. And I eat well, I eat really well. But to cleanse, and by the way, just a side note, that is a really beautiful logo. The hands and the plants and I love that.
Do you
It's
get it? Thank you. Yes. And it's like the hands, it's like you're giving yourself love with the plant
so beautiful. Wow.
and you're hugging yourself and accepting.
Yes, it just hit me when I looked at it. I was like, wow, I totally understand it.
Yeah.
So in this journey where we're talking about the primary foods and how we interact with those, how would you speak to a person who you're sure has not invested properly in the primary foods? We all have them in our life. We see them walking around us, talking to us. We spend a little bit of time with them because we know some stuff's going on with them. And many times we just want them to be on their way. Not that we don't love them or care for them, but we all have certain people. When you see that name come up on the phone or you walk into that place and you see that person, it's like they're about to shoot you with pellets of whatever the case may be, right? Negativity, non-hopefulness, expectations of failure. How do you specifically deal with that, being who you are with the information that you have?
I'll tell you this. Last night, I was invited out to a New Year's Eve party. The person who's had this party, she had a grand masquerade ball a couple months ago. And my cousin came from Canada and wanted me to go with her. I was like, I'm not going because I don't like that person's energy. Yesterday, another friend invited me she invited me about 2 weeks ago to the same person's house. And I'm like, if I'm not going to pay to be in her energy, put my energy in hers, I'm not even going if it's free. So Definitely. I declined and I spent the night here by myself. Right. So the same way with the foods on the plate, you eat proportion, and even if you're going to have a little sweets, you eat it you proportion the amount of unhealthy things that you're consuming. It's the same way you do it with the primary foods. And the people that are not healthy for you or not serving you at that time, you have to give limitations, not totally cut off, but you have to know when and where. When are you ready to receive that? And don't just put yourself in the place unconsciously, mindlessly, to be attacked by this negativity.
Right. I totally get that. I'm going to go a little bit to the left right now. It's going to sound like a little bit of a sharp turn, but I'm going to say it anyway because I know you can handle it. In this particular time that we're in, where everyone is speaking about, this CBD and people are smoking more marijuana and people are doing all these things. What is your take on this kind of addition to eating healthy and so on and so forth? Do you believe that it comes from Earth, so people should indulge in it? Or do you feel like we've gone through this kind of roller coaster where they've tried to tell us that this is really good for you, you're going to be really good with this, and it takes away from us because we're in this high level era now of, I'm starting to see dispensaries everywhere, up and around, so on and so forth. How would you categorize that to somebody starting the new year? And I'm just asking your personal opinion because I'm curious what you think.
Okay, and we all have opinions. As far as me and marijuana, I personally don't see anything wrong with it. And again, in quantifications, is if you're just smoking just to be a chimney is one thing, but back in the day, it's like you smoke, you meditate, you listen to some Bob Marley, you plan, you take out your plan book and write, you write your music if you're a musician, or write your poetry, and take you in, it's like a meditative zone. At least that's what it was. And I smoked marijuana as a teenager, and that's why I'm speaking from my own experience back then. Right. So now it's legal because I guess they found a way to make money off of it. Absolutely. So all of a sudden it's good for you, according to them, right? So that's my take.
I get that. I totally get that. So again, going back to the secondary foods, I would love for someone to leave this presentation today with 2 or 3 things as we begin the year that you deem as really powerful secondary foods that can enrich, open up, cleanse, bring vibration to the body that maybe people don't know about? Maybe something that you can introduce us to that would be, you know, clearer for somebody to ingest. And then we'll get to Rashida.
Well, I would always say, and I always stress on any platform that I am, one of your tenants, eat more plant-based. And
Right.
don't just say, I'm going to have a kale salad today and every day. You want a variety, because variety is the key.
Correct.
Because each food has different nutrients, right? And the whole thing is that the body needs a variety of nutrients, and colorful food, the polyphenols, the colors in the food is what adds to our being, help us be healthy, help the gut, which is also our immune system, because 70% of our health starts in the gut.
Right.
And fiber. Americans are very low on fiber because they're eating packages. The fiber doesn't come in a package, but it will come from a fruit or a vegetable. And when you have the fiber, you get more regular, you get to clean out your insides, you feel lighter, you've cleaned your colon. And with the fiber, you also have to increase your water because that helps with smooth transition. So I would say plant-based, a variety, eat the rainbow, which is an automatic fiber additive, and increase your water intake with that fiber.
Spectacular. Eat the rainbow. Seems to be, I've heard that logo, that phrase before. Rashida, Grand Rising, come on in.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Thank you so much. And I would say it's happy 2025. My sister Impress Ingrid, thank you so much for the nuggets that you are just letting us start the year with. Thank you so much for the nugget. And I like what you say is food for thought. We just have to be mindful of what we put in our body, because what we put in our body is what we're going to get in return. We put garbage we be. And I will say that love that you put and that food when you prepare it, it's a plus and more plus and more plus. And just leave the vibration of negative people. And trust me, once you are conscious and you are aware, those people that don't even come close to you. You just run them with your vibration. So thank you so much for the input this morning and to let us start a beautiful, beautiful, brand new 2025. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. And that is true, because as human spiritual beings, whatever vibration we put out is what we reciprocate. And when you're on a certain level, the others, they just wither away to the wayside, as they say, and it's for the better. So the energy that you're giving out, and the food is energy. And like you said, that's the next thing I would leave people with, is to cook your food. When you cook your food and you put your hands into it and you have a relationship with it as you're preparing, and the love that you put into that food is awesome. And then while you're eating it, go back and remember where it came from, its origin. That will help you to chew slower, chew more. That's something else, so we can digest the food properly. Thank you, Rashida, for your share.
Oh, glad you said that chew more thing. That's one of those little nuggets that people forget about. Mr. Mastermind Stan, come on in.
Happy New Year, Daily Huddle family. First of all, Mastermind Chase, I want to thank you for having this beautiful young lady on today. And Mastermind Ingrid, that was really just a wonderful perspective and information that you gave us. I didn't quite think about movement as being a food that our body is consuming. Movement. You know, when you think about those primary foods, healthy thoughts are primary foods.
Right.
You know? And forgiveness is a tremendous primary food.
Mm.
And
See where you can
everybody,
go with this? You see how you
yeah,
can take it? It's
yeah,
everything that feeds the soul, I say.
yeah, yes. And you're the one that got me thinking that way. I hadn't really, I mean, we've said it before in our own minds, have healthy thinking. But to think about it as a food, consume the right food. And it's right. We are consuming. Everything is energy, and we're consuming that energy. And the primary food of forgiveness is so important because we should apply that in every area, and especially to ourselves. There are a lot of things that we might need to forgive ourselves from if we're holding on to things that we didn't do right. Sometimes we make conscious decisions that we were going to do something that we knew wasn't right. We gotta forgive ourselves, because it's hard to extend forgiveness to someone else if we don't even know how to give it to ourselves first, right? So that's a primary food. But that is so just amazing. Movement. It's a primary food. The sunlight is a primary food.
Yes, because with movement, also, our bodies were made to move. And if you eventually don't move, what's going to happen? You have like a knee pain, hip pain, your joints, because of lack of movement.
Right.
So
we didn't eat enough movement. We didn't eat enough movement. That's deep. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stan. That was amazing. Laura, please come on in.
Yes, greetings. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. Thank you, Mastermind Ingrid, for a great session.
Yes.
And I love the saying.
Thank you, Mastermind, for reminding us to come. Thank you.
Start my video. Okay. Yes, I say I'm tired and sleepy, but I have to jump in. Yeah, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food is one of my mantra.
All
When
right.
I was in the restaurant business, one of our daily mantra was, let us cook with love. Let us cook with love. And I love that you spoke about the primary food. I was on different platforms last night, and the main things they were talking about was forgiveness.
Wow.
Forgiveness. And I remember someone wrote in a chat, it's hard for me. I don't know how to forgive others. And that stirred up a whole slew of conversations. And I'm telling you, for me, is discovering my higher self, taking ownership and responsibility for my creation, my roles into my experiences that has helped me to learn to forgive myself and others, to release the energy I had for resenting others, judging others. And I'm telling you, it's just a beautiful thing to really feed your soul. Another thing I learned this morning was about feeding our souls. And as you said, that's the primary food, is feeding our souls with whatever gives us more light, more love, more passion. So I just want to thank you this morning for starting off the new year with what we need to sustain us. Thank you.
You're
Happy
welcome.
New Year, everybody.
They say about not forgiving, this is like taking poison and expecting the other person to die.
That's right. That's one of my favorites of all time.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah, I say it.
Yeah.
What was the other statement? Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet leaves on the heel that has crushed it.
Wow.
Mark
Yeah,
Twain.
I love
Have you heard that one before?
Yeah, and it's a great. I always try to visualize it. It's just so poetic and
right. You think about walking through the forest and you crush a beautiful violet, but the violet says, "That's okay. I'm going to leave some of my scent on you, and you'll smell beautiful going forward."
Yes,
amazing. I say that many times a month because I love the way that feels. So you were speaking about these certain foods and the secondary foods. And I was thinking last night before I went to my gig, As you can tell, my voice is really stripped down today. I sang really way too much yesterday. But when I was going into my gig, I stopped at a fruit stand and got a green apple, right? Green apples are some of the most under the radar things to eat, right? They have zinc, they have copper, they have magnesium, they have potassium. People forget that, right? You talked about fiber. There's fiber in that as well. So as I asked the guy for a green apple, I can't make this up. In my mind, I was like, I should get a banana too, get a little extra energy and have them both. The guy walked around to the other side because the apples were in the back. He reached up to pick a good apple. And then when he came back around to give me the apple, he had a banana in his hand too. And I said, what happened? You give me a banana too? He said, take it. It's a good banana. You'll enjoy it. And I thought, that was really interesting. I don't know. You know, we can say whatever we want to say about that, but he just smiled at me. I gave him $1. It was 75 cents. And I walked away. And I was like, did I do that? Did I manifest?
And that's just it. The thoughts. When we telepathically communicate to each other, we are spiritual beings. And I'm telling you, me being here, I'm really not surprised.
Me either.
Because I had it here that I'm gonna connect with that guy Chase. I have to connect with him. I didn't say to anyone, I didn't write it down like I know, but I had it here. But I didn't expect it so soon.
Hey,
I didn't expect Sorrel to give me that thing so soon. But I just want to end by saying I thank my cousin Michelle, is the one who introduced me to this space, for introducing me to this wonderful group of people, and also the Motivational Readers Mastermind Network, another great group of people, and all that is stuff that I had here is in my mind. It starts here. You feed your thoughts, you feed your soul with the things that you are hungry for. And I was hungry for community, a community of love, and that share the same thoughts and stuff that I do. It's very hard to find people that's into health these days. And then to come in here and hear your tenants every day, and to hear Wednesdays is health and wellness. I don't know, miss a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to give my gratitude. Yes. And I accept graciously as a way to step out and start the new year on a new foot. Yes, I was nervous. Yes, I was scared. But
you did a great job, bro.
You were scared. You were scared?
I didn't feel any of that energy.
You don't look scared to me, but okay, I'll believe you this one time.
You must have a different definition of scared, because it ain't the one I thought.
Wow. I mean, I'm glad that you just said not so many people speak about health, because I have a lot of friends who eat terrible, musicians that I just eating at the buffets, throwing everything in their mouth. And I never say, hey, what are you doing right now? Why are you eating that? I never say that. But you know what happens? They look at me and go, Chase, what are you drinking? I'm like, cranberry juice. That's all that's in there? Yeah, we're just drinking cranberry juice. Or if I'm at the table and I have whatever, some salad, some edamame, egg roll, some, all these colorful things. They're like, that's all you're gonna eat? You sure? You're gonna be hungry. You move a lot. You're active. They're worried about me. And I'm like, wow, this is really deep. Wow. So I just stay quiet and do what I got to do, because everybody thinks I'm drinking alcohol at the gig. Man, you look fired up. What is that? That's cranberry and orange juice. That's what it is right there. That's what that is. So, to take this out as we do an outro, the perception of what people think is healthy versus what's really healthy. When people say, I'm going to be all right, I just eat what I want to eat. I'm okay. This ain't hurting me, whatever. But we can't see into our body. Now they have machines that can go from head to toe and tell you all the things that are happening in your organs. It's crazy. You do a full body scan, but who's going to do that?
Yeah.
Who's going to spend $150, $300 to do that? Not a lot of people, but they will go and put $350 worth of complete garbage into their body continually for weeks at a time, right?
But I would say, like, even with those people, you meet them where they are, but you have to find your why.
Yeah.
You have to find that your why. So I do this and I'm very passionate about it. And my why is to have a ripple effect of health and wellness and minimize or even cure dis-ease of individuals, to let people know that you have choices. And the package, like every time I pick up something in the store, I turn around, read the food, read the label.
I do that.
I have workshops on teaching how to read a food label. A lot of people don't know, and how much sugar is in this thing, and how much sodium. Start to recognize those things, and then eventually, without having to it be a medical reason, last minute resort, find your why you want to be healthy. Why is it important to you? You love yourself. Show yourself some love by eating and healthy primary and secondary foods, by consuming healthy primary and secondary foods.
Correct. I'm going to ask you a fun question before we wrap up. I know that you like to cook and make some different things from your home. Originally, where are you from again?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Right, I thought Trinidad. So if someone came to your house for a party or a gathering, what is your specialty? I can make a blank that will make your mouth water.
But right now I have a carrot cake on the stove that I made last night. That's for sale. I'm taking it to a fancy event today. I can make a wicked curry apple as opposed to curry making. And, you know, and that was difficult for me, being from the Caribbean, being from Trinidad, and being on this journey. Sometimes you reach a crossroads and it's like, okay, but pilau with the rice and peas and the chicken, that's the national dish, right? But then you're trying to get away from that, you have to find other ways to create it. So I use quinoa instead, or couscous or barley to make my rice and peas. And so it's barley and peas. So I just change stuff around, and I don't stick to one thing. Like I say, I call my lab where I create my concoctions. Some people create vaccines and prescriptions in their lab. I create my food, which is my medicine. So it could be anything. I like to also experiment and try new things. So when my family come to my house, it's a whole spread that I took 12 or 6 or 10 hours to cook. And they're eager to try everything. It's always something different.
Nice.
Because, again, the gut microbiome needs variety.
I'm with you. Sorrel said, what about the roti and the curry chicken?
Let me tell you, I went home last year and then I didn't eat a roti. And they're like, oh, you went to Trinidad and you didn't have no roti? Again, because I'm trying to be conscious. And they have the big roti and it's so big and huge. But when I go home, every fruit that's in season is what I'm after.
Man, I've never been to Trinidad, but my father has a good friend there that owns 2 homes. And he said, anytime, come, you can stay in the mansion. I'm like, what? So I love doubles, and I'm going to connect with you because I want to try some of that food. Doubles is
a small, light, and it's not heavy. Yes, doubles is great.
That's my thing, Ingrid. That's my thing, man. Anyway, thank you so much for being here today. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, as I knew it would be. I knew it would be. And of course, we end with our tenets, as always, on this first day of the year, a time to literally marinate in these concepts if they've slipped away from you, right? Of course, first, just live out loud, laugh, right? Stress less, eat more plant-based, get more sleep in any way that you can. Don't discount those middle of the day naps. People forget about that, right? If you have some time, let the body relax for a little while before you go forward, as Europeans do so well, and we do not, right? Also, please make time to just laugh and be in a space of openness and a little jovialness at as many times as you possibly can, right? And stress less. I said that already, but I'll say it again. Please stress less, right? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here as always with the captain of the ship, Mr. Sorrel Kitan. And I really appreciate you all. We're going to have a spectacular year. I can feel it. And thank you, Ingrid.
Thank you, Sorrel. Thank you, Chase. Thanks for everyone that's on. I hope I gave you some food for thought.
Excellent.
I love it. I love it.